Hi, I'm Victor Cantore. I'm the president and CEO of Amex Exploration. Amex Exploration is an advanced developing exploration company. We currently own over 500 square kilometers in the Abitibi Greenstone belt, and we're moving forward with a feasibility study, bulk sample, and shortly to be mining.
That's quite a nice phrase, isn't it? Shortly to be mining.
Yes.
In this gold environment.
That's awesome.
It's very exciting, very exciting. And I think once that feasibility comes out, I think people will be surprised at how much cash flow there will be from this little project of yours. Look, we're here at PDAC, it's effectively the end of PDAC. It's literally the end of PDAC. Pitch black out there. The last interview of the day.
Yeah.
Is there? Oh no, there's one more. Got to catch up with you. Look, you made a kind of big strategic decision last year and said, look, exploration, we're good at it. No, we kind of got to that point where, yeah, we get it. You're finding high-grade gold everywhere. You decided, no, we think we need to kind of monetize this, advance this. The gold environment says we deserve to, shareholders deserve it, that we do this. So how are things advancing on that front? Does that move towards production?
Yeah, so it's advancing very nicely. We did apply for the bulk sample permit, which then a bulk sample permit is like a test mining. I mean, we're going to be mining at the end of the day. That permit was supposed to be coming in within 3 to 6 months. We're still on time.
Yeah.
We are expecting it sometime in the month of March, and then we press the go button on construction, blasting, moving it forward to production.
So give me that. What's the link between the sort of the bulk versus pressing buttons to going to production? That's a big leap, isn't it?
It is. So the bulk sample is actually going to be, so when you're building the ramp and you're building the decline, it's going to be the same size as the production size. So we're not doing something small and then you're doing something big. So then you can just continue from there while you're getting your full exploitation permit for your phase one. So what we've done is that we've broken it down into 3 phases.
Okay.
Again, to mitigate the financial risk and to mitigate the technical risk.
Yeah.
We're fortunate enough we could actually do that because of the high grade and where the project is located.
Okay. So you're not starting off with any other intent other than that we're going to be mining out of this decline. How quickly?
Well, we're scheduled for sometime in third quarter of 2027, where the first 20 to 23,000 ounces will come out of the bulk sample. And shortly after that, I mean, it should be something that should go very quickly because there's no difference on that phase one. It's really underground mining. Yeah. We're using the same infrastructure. You just continue ramping down. So sometime, we have it scheduled right now, sometime in 2028. We should be in line, according to the PA, we should be in line for over 100,000 ounces. We're trying to optimize that. Our feasibility study for phase one, we're going to have 2 feasibility studies. The first one that's going to be coming out is for phase one, and we're trying to optimize that to bring up the ounces. And it's extremely
moving quick.
Yeah, quick and very profitable. Lots of cash flow.
Okay, so if you're pulling that amount out, you got to process this, you got to extract the gold. What's happening on that?
Where we're going to extract? We're currently in negotiations. I mean, there's still time, but once the bulk sample permit is given by the government, then you'll know that we do have a signed agreement with somebody, because it's implied like an agreement has to be signed with a mill somewhere in the Abitibi.
So when you say somewhere, there's choice, there's optionality.
That's right.
Because if there's one mill, they're in charge.
If
there's multiple mills, you got a conversation to be had. And what do those sorts of agreements typically look like? Because people are going to want in their heads understand, well, you give me the ounce target. If I understand the split, then I can work out what the cash flow looks like.
Absolutely. It's going to be in the dollar amount will be in the feasibility study.
Okay.
What's really nice when you do have optionality, I mean, so if it's one mill and that mill tells you, well, it's going to cost you $100 and something a ton, and what can you do, right? That's what it is. When there's optionality and these are publicly traded companies, then you can go see what their actual cost is.
Right.
So then you could give them cost plus some profit, and you could really, and there is optionality. So when you're moving high grade like this, like right now, it's showing like 10 grams per ton,
Yeah.
a little over 10 grams per ton, fully diluted. Most likely it'll be higher than that, but
Yeah.
we'll wait and see on that.
So the way I guess some people work out as they go, like, I don't know, for every 200 kilometers, it's 1 gram, something like this. I don't know.
It's not expensive.
It's not expensive, but
It's
with
not
high
expensive.
grade.
I mean, 1 gram. The thing is, 1 gram today we're talking about over $200. It's worth over $200 Canadian.
Yeah.
If you put $60 for transport, you're not in the. So in the feasibility study, we're going to put a blended price.
Yeah.
But there is the sensitivity analysis whether it's going to go 80 kilometers away or 250
Right.
kilometers away. Again, when you're moving that high grade, doesn't really affect the because even if you're losing 1 gram, if you're moving a 10.5 gram fully diluted.
Yeah.
So then you're going to end up with 9.5 grams versus if you're moving 2 grams, you end up with 1 gram. It's an issue.
It's an issue, yeah, for sure. So in terms of like what the future looks like, people always worry about dilution. Oh, I need to raise some money again. When you're talking about something like this, a PA, you've got what's the balance sheet at the moment? What do you got?
So we're sitting with a little over $30 million
Right.
still in the account.
So you're good for the PA.
No, we're good. No, we're good for the feasibility study.
The feasibility study. But then, so moving forward, something like this, you'll still need, in terms of agreements to trucking, you don't actually need to go and buy any trucks. Someone will come and pick this up, take it to wherever, and process. And so, in terms of any kind of OPEX expenditure or need to raise money through equity, do you sort of foresee that?
We could. Yeah, we could. At some point,
Yeah.
we will. We have optionality. Our last raise was $37.25 million. 25 million of it was in flow through. That's going to be used for exploration. There's a lot to explore.
Okay.
And we'll talk about that. We're really excited about what's coming.
Yeah.
There was 12 million of that was in hard dollars.
Yeah.
So we're going to be able to pick and choose at the right time when we'll finish it. So we're contemplating about $40 million or so. What the whole bulk sample will end up costing.
Right.
But in that you also have, we're including the transport costs, we're including the milling costs, actual infrastructure. If you're looking around $20 to $25 million of that's infrastructure, it's already a sunk cost into the phase one. Like our phase one right now with
Right.
the PA, it's contemplated at 146. You'd have to deduct that amount from there because that's the same infrastructure. Like I was saying earlier, it's exact same infrastructure that we're putting in.
Okay. So this whatever DSO, I don't know what the agreements are, whatever options you
absolutely.
got. So that'll be what it is, and you'll work out what's the best thing there. In terms of obviously with the project Perron and getting the necessary permits to move this into something which you control, and you are the beneficiary of the cash that it produces. What's the kind of process laid out there in terms of time frame as well?
Yeah, so it's really nice when you look at it. So we do have a Gantt chart that's in the PowerPoint presentation, and you look at the bulk sample, for example. If you end up getting 20 to 23,000 ounces, I don't know what the price of gold is going to be in 2027, but I would assume it's even at $4,000 US gold, that's $80 million, which is in excess of $100 million. And plus there's going to be what we call pre-production revenue. So until you achieve commercial production. So in our case, again with the PA, we were showing at 1,000 tons per day. So the minute you reach 600 tons a day, that's called commercial production. So that's where your CapEx starts, and it's growth capital. It's growth capital after that. So everything you're producing prior to that is called pre-production. So if you're producing 100, 200 tons, 300 tons, you're still shipping this. You're mining it, you're getting money. So it's contemplated at getting $68 million from there, plus your bulk sample. That pretty much covers your entire $146 million for your CapEx of your phase one. And then you're going to be producing 100,000 plus ounces per year, which you're again, I can only talk about the numbers that are inside the PA. Yeah. So the PA is showing $1,165 per AISC.
Okay. Okay. And current life of mine on that basis would be what?
So we're going to be putting out one with only the phase one.
Yeah.
The life of mine right now is at 17 and a half years. And we're working to bring this a lot tighter because that's where you're going to get those bigger NPVs on that. But the first one is going to be based on on 4 to 5 years. Right now it's showing at 4 years, and
Amazing.
if we go to 5 years, it's producing that many ounces with that little capex. It'll be very beneficial for all the shareholders.
It's very attractive, and by attractive I mean there's a lot of M&A going on at the moment, and and I think some of the materials are getting impatient and coming in sooner than they used to. You noticing that?
Yeah, I'm seeing that. I just want to continue carrying out our business plan. I want to continue drilling. I want to grow this. On the Ontario side, there's really so our engineers are seeing, our mining engineers and our geologists are seeing a mirror image on the other side.
Right.
So on this week, actually on Monday, we signed the exploration agreement with, we announced the exploration agreement with the First Nations on the Ontario side. So now we're waiting for the permits to come in from the Ontario government, and we're gonna put 2 rigs on that immediately.
Okay.
There's nice historical sonic drilling from the past. That belt was really, people were looking for that belt. What they were looking for is the sulfides. They weren't looking, if they didn't have base metals, gold wasn't their thing.
Do you think, obviously you've been doing that kind of land consolidation and significant consolidation, and I know you are explorer at heart, but you see an opportunity in terms of getting to production quicker. Do you think that this company has got the ability to defend itself from any potential acquisitors? Is the board minded to give you the chance to continue to see what you can build this into, given what you've done so far?
We're going to continue going on 2 paths. One is production, the other one is exploration.
Yeah.
And we're going to fight for our shareholders, that's for sure. I want the maximum value for our shareholders. So,
okay.
And how you do that, I guess you got to bring in competitive tension. And
for sure.
Our major shareholders, they're really good. We have a great relationship with them. But then again, you still got to think of all your shareholders, which is what we're doing.
Yeah, okay. Well, Victor, it's late. You got places to be. I just wanted to kind of remind people about the potential of what you've got here. Obviously, the market has reacted extremely strongly for you in the last 12 months, 2025 and into 2026. People have great expectations. I think they're keen for this feasibility study. They're kind of keen to see you execute this year.
Well, feasibility study and really is getting that permit. I think is a big milestone. Absolutely. And also the First Nations agreement on the Ontario side was another big milestone. These are all big milestones.
Yeah, more to come though. More to come. Thank you very much.
Thank you.